"Ma'am, I'm calling security. Your daughter clearly doesn't belong here." The words cut through the marble-floored lobby of First National Trust like a blade. 16-year-old Maya Williams stood perfectly still, her school uniform pressed, her hands steady as she held a sealed envelope. Janet Morrison, the senior bank manager, spoke loud enough for everyone to hear. Her 15 years at the bank had taught her to spot troublemakers. This black teenager definitely didn't belong among their serious clients. "I have an appointment," Maya said quietly. Janet's laugh was sharp. "An appointment? A child? I don't think so." Other customers turned to stare. Phones emerged from pockets. The afternoon light streaming through the windows seemed to pause, waiting. Have you ever watched someone judge a book by its cover only to discover they were holding dynamite? The wall clock read 3:47 p.m. when Maya first approached the premium teller window. Now 2 minutes later, Janet Morrison's voice carried across the entire banking floor. "Do you understand English?" Janet spoke slowly, deliberately. "This is a bank for serious business." Maya remained calm. "I need to make a special deposit for the Williams Family Trust. I have an appointment with Mr. Davidson at 4:00. "Williams?" Janet scoffed. "We don't have any Williams family trusts. Stop wasting our time with fantasies." Near the ATM machines, college student Zara Chen pulled out her phone. She'd seen enough discrimination videos to recognize one brewing. Her finger hit the live stream button on TikTok. "Y'all need to see this," she whispered to her camera. Bank manager going full Karen on this young girl. The stream counter showed 15 viewers, then 30. Security guard Rick Dalton emerged from behind the customer service desk. 53 years old, 20 lb overweight, he followed Janet's lead without question. She'd been here longer than anyone. "Miss, you need to move along," Rick said, his hand resting on his radio. "You're disrupting business." Maya glanced at her smartwatch, a PC Philippe that cost more than Rick's annual salary, though he didn't notice. She'd received it for her 16th birthday 3 months ago, along with her first quarterly trust dividend. "I'm standing quietly in line," Maya replied. "The only disruption is the assumptions being made about me." Janet's face flushed. "Assumptions? I'm protecting our customers from what exactly?" Maya asked. The question hung in the air. Janet's mouth opened, then closed. She couldn't say what she really meant. From her phone screen, Zara watched her viewer count climb past 100. Comments started flooding in. "This is 2025, not 1955. Get her badge number. Where is this happening?" Maya reached into her school blazer and pulled out a black American Express Centurion card. The metal caught the overhead lights. Janet barely glanced at it, probably stolen or fake. "These cards are invitation only for millionaires." "I know," Maya said simply. Her phone buzzed with a text message. Mia read it quickly. "Emergency board meeting moved to 4:15 p.m. Don't be late." "Mom," she typed back at the bank now. "Minor delay. I have exactly 21 minutes to complete this transaction." Maya announced, checking her watch again. Janet threw her hands up. "You have 0 minutes. Rick, call the police. I want this troublemaker removed." Customer Margaret Patterson, 72 years old, nodded approvingly from the loan desk. "In my day, people knew their place," she muttered loud enough for others to hear. Zara's stream now had 300 viewers. She panned her camera to capture Margaret's comment, then focused back on Maya. From his corner office, branch president Charles Davidson heard the commotion. Through his glass wall, he could see Janet gesturing wildly at a teenage girl. Something about the scene bothered him, but he stayed put. Janet usually handled difficult customers efficiently. Maya opened a small notebook and began writing. Her handwriting was precise, methodical. "What are you doing?" Janet demanded. "Documenting everything for the record," Maya replied without looking up. "Timestamps, witness statements, exact quotes. Don't you dare threaten us." Maya finally looked up from her notebook. "I'm not threatening anyone, I'm preparing." The word preparing sent a chill through Janet that she couldn't explain. Something in Maya's tone suggested layers beneath the surface. Rick reached for his radio. "Control, this is Dalton at First National downtown. Need police assistance for a trespassing situation. Copy that. Units en route." Zara's viewer count hit 500. Comment section exploded. "Someone's about to get sued. This girl's too calm, she knows something. Why won't they just listen to her? Maya's phone rang. She glanced at the screen. Dad. She declined the call and sent a quick text. In meeting, call you after. Janet noticed the expensive phone, the confident way Maya handled it. For a split second, doubt crept in, but she committed now. Backing down would look weak. Ma'am, Janet said, addressing a nearby customer. I apologize for this disturbance. We're handling it. The customer, a middle-aged man in a business suit, shook his head. She's just a kid. Maybe listen to what she's saying. Janet's anger flared. Sir, I've been managing this branch for 15 years. I know troublemakers when I see them. Maya closed her notebook and returned it to her blazer pocket. Her movements were unhurried, purposeful. Mrs. Morrison, she said, reading Janet's name tag. In exactly 18 minutes, this entire situation will be resolved. I suggest you reconsider your approach. Stop with the cryptic nonsense, Janet snapped. Through the bank's front windows, blue and red lights appeared. 2 police cruisers pulled into the parking lot. Zara's stream now had over 1,000 viewers. Oh snap, she whispered to her camera. Police just arrived. This is about to get real. Maya checked her watch one more time. 3:52 p.m. She had 18 minutes until her mother's board meeting. 18 minutes to deposit her quarterly dividend and get across town. She looked directly at Janet Morrison and smiled. It wasn't a friendly smile. It was the smile of someone holding all the cards. Officers Martinez and Johnson walked through the bank's glass doors at 3:55 p.m. Martinez, a 15-year veteran, immediately assessed the scene. A teenage girl stood calmly near the premium counter while a bank manager gestured frantically. Officers, thank goodness. Janet rushed toward them. This girl is trespassing and refuses to leave. She's been causing a disturbance for almost 10 minutes. Maya remained perfectly still, her hands visible, her posture non-threatening. She'd learned from her parents' dinner table conversations about police encounters. Stay calm, don't reach for anything, let them approach you. Officer Martinez looked at Maya, then at Janet. Something felt off about the whole situation. Miss, can I see some identification? Martinez asked politely. Maya slowly reached into her blazer and produced her driver's license. Maya Elizabeth Williams, I have a 4:00 appointment with Mr. Davidson about our family trust. Martinez examined the ID. The address listed was in Brookhaven, one of the city's most exclusive neighborhoods. The birth date showed she was 16. Ma'am, Martinez addressed Janet. What exactly is the problem here? Janet's face re-ened. She claims to have some appointment, but she's obviously lying. Look at her. She doesn't belong in our premium section. Look at me. How? Maya asked quietly. The question hung in the air like smoke. Everyone understood what Janet meant, but nobody wanted to say it out loud. From her position near the ATM, Zara's live stream had grown to 1,500 viewers. Comments poured in faster than she could read them. That manager just said the quiet part loud. This is so wrong. Where's the girl's parents? Someone call the news. Officer Johnson, younger and less experienced, shifted uncomfortably. Maybe we should just ask everyone to calm down. And no, Janet interrupted. I want her removed. She's been disruptive and threatening. Maya pulled out her notebook again. Officer Martinez, I'd like to file a complaint for discrimination under Section 1981 of the Civil Rights Act. Martinez blinked. Most teenagers didn't know federal civil rights statutes. You want to file a complaint against who? Against Mrs. Morrison and this bank for denying me service based on my race. Janet sputtered. Race has nothing to do with this. She's not what. Maya pressed through his office window. Charles Davidson finally stood up. The police presence had gotten his attention. He walked toward the group, his stomach churning with a growing sense that something was very wrong. Officers, I'm Charles Davidson, branch president. What seems to be the problem? Martinez turned to him gratefully. Sir, we have a complaint about a customer being denied service. Davidson looked at Maya for the first time, really looked at her. Something about her face seemed familiar. But he couldn't place it. Miss Williams says she has an appointment with you at 4:00, Martinez continued. Davidson pulled out his phone and checked his calendar. Nothing scheduled, but wait, there was something else. A meeting reminder from corporate. Williams Family Trust quarterly review materials in secure file. His blood turned cold. Williams, he repeated, staring at Maya with new eyes. Yes, sir. The Williams Family Trust. I'm here to deposit our quarterly dividend. Davidson's mind raced. The Williams Family Trust was one of their largest accounts, but the trustee was supposed to be. "Where's your guardian?" he asked carefully. Maya checked her watch. 4:02 p.m. She's in a board meeting until 4:15. I'm authorized to handle routine transactions independently. Board meeting? Janet laughed harshly. What board meeting? Stop lying. Maya's phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen and her expression shifted slightly. A text from her mother. Running late. Handle the deposit and meet me at the office by 4:30. She typed back, slight complication at bank, police involved, nothing I can't handle. The response came immediately. What? Put Davidson on the phone now. Maya looked up at Davidson. Mr. Davidson, my mother would like to speak with you. She held out her iPhone. Davidson hesitated, then took it. Hello, he said uncertainly. The voice that came through the speaker was crisp, professional, and absolutely furious. Charles Davidson, this is Alina Williams, Chairman and CEO of Williams Capital Group. Would you care to explain why my daughter is being harassed by police officers in my bank? Davidson's face went white. Williams Capital Group, the parent company that had acquired controlling interest in First National Trust 18 months ago, his boss's boss's boss. Ms. Williams, there seems to be a misunderstanding. The only misunderstanding is your staff's assumption that a black teenager couldn't possibly be a legitimate customer. Fix this now. The phone went dead. Davidson stared at the device in his hand, then at Maya, then at Janet. The family resemblance was suddenly obvious. How had he missed it? Zara's stream exploded with activity. Over 3,000 viewers now, and someone had shared it to Twitter. The hashtag banking while black was starting to trend. Mr. Davidson, Officer Martinez prompted. Is there an appointment or not? Davidson's mouth moved, but no sound came out. Janet stepped forward, sensing his hesitation. Charles, don't let her intimidate you with fake phone calls. I know our customers, and she's not one of them. Maya opened her blazer and withdrew a thick envelope. My quarterly dividend check. Would you like to see the amount before you decide whether I belong here? She pulled out a folded paper and handed it to Davidson. He opened it with trembling fingers. The check was from Berkshire Trust Company made out to the Williams Family Trust. The amount $2,347,890 $32.3 million. Davidson's knees nearly buckled. Janet craned her neck to see the paper, but he held it close to his chest. Officers, Davidson said, his voice barely above a whisper. I believe there's been a terrible mistake. What kind of mistake? Martinez asked. Davidson looked at Janet, then at Maya, then at the growing crowd of onlookers. Some were filming now, not just Zara. This was becoming a social media nightmare. The kind that ends careers, Maya said softly. Margaret Patterson, the elderly customer who'd made the comment about people knowing their place, quietly gathered her purse and headed for the exit. She'd seen enough viral videos to know when to disappear. Janet sensed the shift in power but couldn't understand it. Charles, what's on that paper? Don't let her manipulate you. Maya checked her watch again. 4:07 p.m. I now have exactly 8 minutes to complete this deposit and get to my mother's office. Mr. Davidson, shall we proceed to your office, or would you prefer to handle this transaction in front of everyone? The question was polite, but the underlying threat was clear. Davidson had a choice. Handle this quietly and professionally, or let it play out publicly for Zara's thousands of viewers to witness. My office, he said quickly. Officers, thank you for your time. Everything is under control. Martinez looked skeptical. You sure about that, sir? Absolutely certain. As they started toward Davidson's office, Janet grabbed his arm. Charles, you can't seriously believe Janet. His voice was ice cold. Don't say another word. Maya paused at the threshold of Davidson's office and looked back at Janet. Their eyes met across the banking floor. Mrs. Morrison, Maya said, her voice carrying clearly through the marble lobby. These real-life stories happen every day. Today you became part of one. Davidson's office felt smaller than usual as Maya settled into the leather chair across from his desk. Through the glass wall, she could see Janet packing the banking floor, gesturing wildly to Officer Martinez. The live stream was still running. Zara's phone trained on the office windows. Ms. Williams, Davidson began, then stopped. His hands shook as he set down the $2.3 million check. I need to understand what just happened out there. Maya opened her sealed envelope completely for the first time. She withdrew a thick stack of documents bound with a navy blue cover. Williams Family Trust Quarterly Report Q12025 was embossed in gold letters. "These are the trust documents," she said, sliding them across his mahogany desk. Page 12 shows the account relationship with First National Trust. Page 15 details my authorization levels for routine transactions. Davidson flipped to page 12. His throat went dry. The Williams Family Trust held $47.3 million in various First National Trust accounts: checking, savings, money, market, certificates of deposit. It was their third largest customer relationship. Page 15 was worse. Maya Elizabeth Williams was authorized to conduct transactions up to $5 million without additional approval. The signature card showed her authorization had been updated just 3 months ago on her 16th birthday. "Jesus Christ," he whispered. Maya raised an eyebrow. "Is there a problem with my documentation?" "No," Davidson flipped to the front page. "It says here, the account was opened in 2008 when I was born." "Yes, my parents established the trust to handle my inheritance from my grandmother's estate, plus accumulated dividends from Williams Capital Group holdings." Davidson turned to page 23, Portfolio Summary. Williams Capital Group owns significant stakes in 47 companies across 12 industries: technology, healthcare, real estate, manufacturing. The portfolio was worth $1.2 billion. His intercom buzzed. "Mr. Davidson, Alina Williams is on line 1 for you." Maya checked her watch. 4:09 p.m. That would be my mother. The board meeting ended early. Davidson's finger hovered over the speakerphone button. Once he pressed it, there would be no taking back what had happened in his lobby. He pressed it. "Alina, I can explain." "Charles." The voice that came through the speaker was controlled fury wrapped in silk. "I've been watching my daughter's situation unfold via social media. 3,000 people are currently witnessing how your bank treats black customers." Through the office window, Maya could see Zara still filming. The viewer count on her phone now showed 4,200 people watching live. "Your manager, Janet Morrison, accused my daughter of theft, called her a liar, and summoned police to remove her from your premises for attempting to deposit a legitimate check." Davidson loosened his tie. "Alina, I had no idea Maya was what your customer, my daughter, black." The question hung in the air like a blade. Maya spoke for the first time since entering the office. "Mr. Davidson, would you like to know what Mrs. Morrison said when I showed her my Centurion card?" "Your what?" Alina's voice sharpened. "She said it was probably stolen or fake. She didn't believe a 16-year-old could have an invitationally credit card." Davidson buried his face in his hands. Centurion cards were issued exclusively to individuals with net worth exceeding $10 million. The Williams family qualified easily. Charles. Alina continued, "I need you to understand something. Williams Capital Group acquired 46% of First National Trust specifically because of your institution's reputation for customer service. We are now your largest shareholder." Davidson's head snapped up. 46%. Maya pulled out her phone and opened a financial app. "Would you like to see the current stock ownership breakdown?" She turned the screen toward him. Williams Capital Group 46.3%, various mutual funds 31.2%, individual investors 22.5%. Alina Williams didn't just bank at First National Trust, she owned it. "Mom," Maya said calmly, "Mr. Davidson has been very professional since Officer Martinez called you. The problem is entirely with Mrs. Morrison." "I see." Alina's tone shifted slightly. "Charles, put Maya on speaker and step outside your office. I need to speak with my daughter privately." Davidson stood up so quickly he nearly knocked over his chair. He stepped into the hallway, closing the door behind him. Through the glass, Janet Morrison caught his eye. She marched over, her face flushed with indignation. "Charles, what is going on? Why are you treating that girl like some kind of VIP?" Davidson stared at her. 15 years Janet had worked here. 15 years of handling customer complaints, managing her team, representing the bank's values, and in 10 minutes she destroyed everything. Janet, do you know who Williams Capital Group is? Some investment company. So what? They own 46% of our stock. Alina Williams is the chairman and CEO. Janet's face went blank. That's impossible. She would have said something. She would have what? Announced her family connections to avoid discrimination. Inside the office, Maya was speaking quietly to her mother. Davidson couldn't hear the conversation, but he could see Mia's calm demeanor. She wasn't angry or upset. She was strategic. His phone buzzed with a text from corporate headquarters. Urgent social media situation at downtown branch. Viral video trending. Need immediate damage control. Another text. Alina Williams requesting emergency call with board of directors. Another legal department wants incident report ASAP. The story was spreading faster than wildfire. Banking. While Black had over 50,000 mentions on Twitter, news outlets were picking it up. His bank was about to become a case study in corporate discrimination. Janet was still talking, making excuses, justifying her actions. Davidson stopped listening. He was calculating the damage. Maya opened the office door. "Mr. Davidson, my mother would like to speak with you again." He walked back inside on unsteady legs. Charles, Alina's voice was businesslike. "Now I've discussed the situation with Maya. Here's what's going to happen." Davidson grabbed a pen and legal pad. "First, Janet Morrison will be terminated immediately. No severance, no recommendations. Alina, I can't just second. You will implement comprehensive bias training for all customer-facing staff within 30 days. Maya pulled out her notebook and began writing. Third, First National Trust will establish a $500,000 annual community investment fund focused on financial literacy programs in underserved communities. Fourth, Alina continued, my daughter will personally review and approve all training materials to ensure they address the specific issues she experienced today. Davidson's pen moved frantically across the paper. Fifth, this branch will participate in a quarterly review process to monitor customer service equity. The first review will be conducted by Maya. Maya looked up from her notebook. I'll need access to complaint records, security footage, and customer satisfaction surveys. Alina, Davidson said desperately. These requirements seem reasonable, necessary, long overdue. Alina's voice cut through his objection. Charles, my family has been the target of discrimination before. We've learned that economic consequences create change faster than good intentions. Maya stood up and gathered her documents. Mr. Davidson, I still need to complete my deposit. The check has been sitting on your desk for 6 minutes. He looked down at the $2.3 million check as if seeing it for the first time. Of course. Let me process that immediately. Actually, Maya said, I'd prefer if Mrs. Morrison handled the transaction under supervision, of course. Davidson's eyes widened. You want Janet to complete the deposit. She refused to process. Yes. Alina's laugh came through the speaker, sharp and satisfied. Brilliant idea, sweetheart. Maya smiled, the same smile she'd given Janet earlier. But now Davidson understood what it meant. Maya Williams wasn't just depositing money. She was making a point that would echo through every bank branch, every corporate boardroom, every social media platform that picked up this story. She was 16 years old, black female, and she had just bought herself a bank. Outside the office, Zara's live stream had grown to over 6,000 viewers. The comments section was exploding. Did she just say she owns the bank? Plot twist of the century. This girl is my new hero. Janet about to get fired on live stream. Maya checked her watch one final time. 4:14 p.m. She had exactly 16 minutes to get to her mother's office, but first she had a deposit to make and a manager to educate about the cost of assumptions. These touching stories of discrimination might happen daily, but today's story was about to have a very different ending than Janet Morrison had planned. Maya walked out of Davidson's office with the confidence of someone who had just rewritten the rules. The banking floor fell silent as customers and staff watched her approach Janet Morrison's desk. Zara's live stream count hit 7,500 viewers. The comments section moved too fast to read. This is better than Netflix. Janet's about to learn today. CEO's daughter vs. racist manager fight. Janet looked up from her computer screen, still unaware of what had transpired behind Davidson's glass walls. I thought security removed you. No removal necessary, Maya said, placing the $2.3 million check on Janet's desk. I'd like to make a deposit, please. Janet glanced at the check dismissively. I already told you, she stopped mid-sentence. The number of zeros was impossible to ignore. This is fake, Janet said, but her voice lacked conviction. Davidson emerged from his office, his face ashen. Janet processed the deposit now. Charles, I don't understand. Why are we? Because Maya interrupted. Williams Capital Group owns this bank. Alina Williams is the chairman and CEO. I am Alina Williams's daughter. You have discriminated against your employer's family. The words hit Janet like physical blows. She looked at the check again, then at Maya, then at Davidson for confirmation. Davidson nodded slowly. Everything she's saying is true. Janet's computer screen showed her personal email inbox. 3 messages from corporate HR marked urgent, 2 from the legal department, 1 from the CEO's office with the subject line response required. Branch incident. Her phone buzzed with a text from her sister. Are you the bank manager in this viral video? Call me now. The viral video. Janet's stomach dropped. How many people are watching? She asked weakly. Maya checked Zara's stream. 7,800 and climbing. Alina's voice came through Davidson's office speaker loud enough to carry across the floor. Charles, please put me on video call. I'd like to address your staff directly. Davidson rushed back to his office and returned with his laptop. Maya helped him position it so the screen faced Janet's workstation. Alina Williams appeared on the 13 in display, even through pixelated video. Her presence was commanding. Designer blazer, pulled back hair, the kind of professional confidence that came from running billion-dollar companies. Good afternoon, everyone, Alina said, her voice carrying across the marble lobby. I'm Alina Williams, chairman and CEO of Williams Capital Group, your majority shareholder. The few remaining customers stopped their transactions to listen. Tellers emerged from behind their stations. Security guard Rick positioned himself where he could see the screen. 18 months ago, Williams Capital Group acquired controlling interest in First National Trust because we believed in your commitment to excellent customer service for all clients, regardless of their background. Alina paused, letting the words sink in. Today, my 16-year-old daughter attempted to deposit her quarterly trust dividend. Instead of receiving professional service, she was accused of theft, called a liar, and threatened with arrest. Janet's face drained of color. She tried to speak, but no words came. Ms. Morrison, you are terminated effective immediately. Security will escort you from the premises. You can't. Janet finally found her voice. I've been here 15 years. I have rights. You can't fire me for violating federal anti-discrimination laws, for creating a hostile environment, for generating a public relations nightmare. Alina's tone was ice cold. Actually, I can. Maya pulled out her phone and began reading from a legal document. Under Section 1980, one of the Civil Rights Act, all persons shall have the same right to make and enforce contracts as white citizens. Your refusal to process my deposit constitutes a violation. She continued reading. Additionally, Title VII of the Civil Rights Act prohibits discrimination in places of public accommodation. This bank qualifies as such a venue. Alina smiled proudly. My daughter has been studying constitutional law since she was 14. She knows her rights better than most adults. Janet looked desperately at Davidson. Charles, please, I made a mistake. But Janet, Alina's voice cut through the plea. In the past hour, your actions have cost this bank approximately $340,000 in negative publicity value. Our stock price has already dropped 2% due to social media coverage. Maya opened her financial app and showed the screen to Janet. Williams Capital Group holdings in First National Trust are currently valued at $847 million. Your discrimination has directly impacted shareholder value. The hashtag banking while black now has over 100,000 mentions, Alina continued. Local news stations are picking up the story. Our competitor banks are using this incident to attract our customers. Rick, the security guard, approached Janet's desk. His earlier confidence had evaporated. Ma'am, I need you to clear out your personal items. Janet's eyes filled with tears. I have a mortgage, kids in college. You can't destroy my life over a misunderstanding. Maya leaned forward. Mrs. Morrison, it wasn't a misunderstanding. You looked at my skin color and made assumptions about my worth, my honesty, my right to be here. That's not I would never. You called my credit card fake before examining it. You dismissed my appointment without checking your schedule. You summoned police instead of listening. Alina's voice carried a note of finality. Ms. Morrison, discrimination isn't just morally wrong, it's expensive. Today's incident will cost this branch approximately $2.3 million in lost revenue over the next fiscal year. Maya stood up and began placing her documents back in their envelope. That's assuming Williams Capital Group maintains its banking relationship here, which depends entirely on the changes Mr. Davidson implements. Davidson wiped sweat from his forehead. Alina, what exactly are you expecting? Mandatory bias training for all staff within 30 days. Community investment fund of $500,000 annually, quarterly equity reviews conducted by my daughter, and a public apology posted on all your social media platforms. Maya checked her watch. 4:22 p.m. I also want to review your hearing practices, complaint procedures, and customer service protocols. You're 16, Janet protested weakly. 16, black, female, and worth $47 million, Maya replied. I'm also your customer, and now I'm your oversight committee. Zara's live stream had grown to nearly 10,000 viewers. Someone had shared it to Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. The story was spreading across every platform. Alina addressed the camera directly. To everyone watching this live stream, discrimination isn't just wrong, it's economically stupid. Businesses that judge customers by appearance rather than assets don't deserve to survive. Maya completed her deposit transaction in less than 2 minutes. Janet's hands shook as she processed the check, printed the receipt, updated the account balance. Thank you for banking with First National Trust, Janet whispered, the words tasting like ash. Maya folded the receipt and placed it in her blazer pocket. Mrs. Morrison, I hope you find a job where you can learn to see people's humanity before making assumptions about their value. It wasn't cruelty. It was grace Janet didn't deserve. Alina's final words carried across the banking floor. Mr. Davidson, I expect a full implementation plan on my desk by Friday. Maya will begin her quarterly review next Monday. The laptop screen went dark. Maya gathered her belongings and walked toward the exit. Every step was measured, purposeful. At the door, she turned back to face the crowd that had gathered. These black stories matter, she said clearly. Not because we're asking for special treatment, but because we're demanding equal treatment. The difference between those two things is justice. She pushed through the glass doors and walked into the afternoon sunlight, leaving behind a bank that would never be the same. Behind her, Zara ended her live stream with a simple message. 10,000 people just watched a 16-year-old girl buy herself justice. Share this everywhere. 3 hours later, Maya sat in her mother's corner office on the 40th floor of Williams Tower. Through floor-toseling windows, the city sprawled below them like a circuit board of possibilities. Alina poured herself coffee from a silver service set. How do you feel about what happened? Maya considered the question carefully, tired but not surprised. Your father called. He saw the video. What did he say? Alina smiled. He said you handled yourself like a Williams. On Alina's desk, 3 phones buzzed simultaneously. Text messages, emails, voicemails. The story had exploded beyond social media into mainstream news. Local stations wanted interviews. National networks were calling. CNN wants a statement, Alina said, scrolling through messages. So does the Wall Street Journal. Maya shook her head. I don't want to be the poster child for discrimination. I want to be the example of what happens when discrimination meets consequences. Alina's assistant knocked and entered. Ma'am, First National Trust's Board of Directors is requesting an emergency meeting. They want to discuss implementation of your requirements. Tell them Monday at 9:00 a.m. Alina replied. Maya has school tomorrow. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. The girl who just restructured a bank's policies still had algebra homework. Maya's phone showed 47 missed calls. Friends from school, extended family, reporters who'd somehow gotten her number. She turned it face down. The community investment fund was brilliant. Alina said. $500,000 annually will fund financial literacy programs in 6 underserved neighborhoods. Mrs. Patterson looked so ashamed when she realized what she'd witnessed, Mia said, referring to the elderly customer who'd made the comment about people knowing their place. Some people can learn. Others, like Janet Morrison, reveal who they really are under pressure. Alina opened her laptop and showed Maya the analytics dashboard. Zara's live stream has been viewed 2.3 million times across all platforms #banking, while Black is trending in 47 countries. Maya studied the numbers. That's more reach than most advertising campaigns. Discrimination is expensive, but accountability is profitable. 3 competitor banks have already called wanting to discuss our business. Maya stood and walked to the windows. The bank where she'd been humiliated was visible 15 blocks away, its glass facade reflecting the late afternoon sun. Davidson called an all-staff meeting for tomorrow morning. Alina continued. Mandatory attendance. He's flying in sensitivity trainers from Chicago. Good, but training only works if people want to change. Alina joined her daughter at the window. The quarterly reviews you'll conduct will identify who's genuinely committed to improvement. Maya's reflection in the glass looked older than 16. The events of the day had added weight to her shoulders, knowledge to her eyes. Mom, do you think anything will really change? Alina wrapped an arm around her daughter. Sweetheart, you didn't just deposit money today. You deposited a lesson that will echo through every branch, every corporate boardroom, every customer interaction. Maya's phone buzzed with a text from Zara. Girl, you're famous. My video broke TikTok records. Want to collaborate on a follow-up? Maya typed back. Thanks for documenting everything. That took courage. Alina checked her own phone. The Williams Diversity Initiative just received 50 applications for funding. Organizations want to replicate what happened today. Replicate discrimination. Replicate consequences. Real immediate economic consequences for discriminatory behavior. Maya turned from the window. What about Janet Morrison? What about her? She has kids in college, a mortgage. I don't want to destroy someone's life. Alina studied her daughter's face. That compassion is why you'll be a better leader than I am. But Maya, consequences aren't cruel, they're educational. Maybe we could offer her a chance to participate in the bias training as someone learning from her mistakes. Alina smiled. Now that's the kind of systemic change that creates lasting impact. Maya gathered her school backpack, the same one she'd carried into the bank 6 hours ago. Inside were her calculus textbook, chemistry notes, and a receipt for a $2.3 million deposit that had changed everything. I have homework, she said. What subject? American government. We're studying the 14th Amendment. Alina laughed. I think you just gave your classmates a practical demonstration. As they prepared to leave the office, Alina's phone rang one more time. She glanced at the caller ID and answered. Charles Davidson, right on schedule. She put the call on speaker. Alina, I wanted to update you on our progress. We've contacted diversity consultants, scheduled staff training, and I've personally called every customer who witnessed today's incident to apologize. Maya leaned toward the phone. Mr. Davidson, what about your hearing practices? We're reviewing everything. HR is implementing new interview protocols to ensure we recruit candidates who reflect our community's diversity. Good, Maya said. Because real-life stories like mine happen when institutions forget that excellence comes in every color. Alina ended the call and looked at her daughter with pride. Ready to go home? Maya shouldered her backpack. Ready. They walked toward the elevator. Mother and daughter, CEO and student, 2 women who had just proved that quiet power could move mountains. Behind them, the city lights began to twinkle, each one a story waiting to be told. 6 months later, Maya Williams walked through the same glass doors of First National Trust. This time, the greeting was different. Good morning, Ms. Williams, said Marcus Thompson, the new customer service manager. He was 28, Black, and had been hired specifically to improve community relations. How can we help you today? Maya smiled. Quarterly review. Is Mr. Davidson available? The transformation was visible everywhere. Diverse staff behind every counter. Multilingual signage, a community bulletin board featuring financial literacy workshops. Photos from the Williams Diversity Fund events lined the walls. Janet Morrison's old workstation now belonged to Sofia Rodriguez, a bilingual financial advisor who specialized in serving immigrant families. The premium banking section had been redesigned with an open layout, eliminating the psychological barriers that had once segregated customers. Davidson emerged from his office walking taller than he had 6 months ago. The bank's customer satisfaction scores had increased 40%. Discrimination complaints had dropped to zero. Maya, good to see you. The quarterly numbers are remarkable. They settled in his office where Maya opened her tablet and reviewed the metrics. New account openings in underserved communities up 67%. Customer retention among minority clients 94%. Employee diversity improved from 23% to 41%. The sensitivity training worked, Davidson said, but the real change came from hearing people who reflect our community. Maya nodded. Representation matters. When customers see themselves in your staff, trust follows. Through the window, she spotted Zara Chen at the ATM. The college student had become a local celebrity, her original live stream used in diversity training programs nationwide. She waved when she saw Maya. "What about Mrs. Morrison?" Maya asked. Davidson's expression softened. "She completed the bias training program. She's working at a community credit union now helping with financial counseling. She sends thank you cards every quarter." Maya's phone buzzed with a news alert. Williams' diversity protocol adopted by 200-plus banks nationwide. The incident had sparked a movement. Financial institutions across the country were implementing similar oversight programs. Alina Williams had been right. Economic consequences created faster change than good intentions. Maya closed her tablet and gathered her things. "Same time next quarter." "Absolutely. And Maya, thank you not just for today, but for showing us who we could become." Outside the bank, Maya paused on the sidewalk where Zara had first started filming. A small plaque now marked the spot. "Change begins when courage meets consequence." Williams Diversity Initiative 2025. She pulled out her phone and opened the camera app. It was time for her own social media post 6 months ago. "I walked into this bank as a customer and left as an agent of change." Today's quarterly review shows what's possible when institutions choose growth over grievance. She posted the video with the progress update. The comments came immediately. "You changed everything. This is how you create real reform. Quiet power wins every time." Maya pocketed her phone and headed toward school. She had a presentation to give in American government class about constitutional rights in practice. Her classmates were about to learn that touching stories aren't just entertainment. They're blueprints for justice. Have you witnessed discrimination in your community? Share your real-life stories in the comments below. Your voice matters. These Black stories deserve to be heard, shared, and acted upon. Hit that subscribe button if you believe in using economic power to create social change. What would you have done in Maya's situation? Let us know in the comments. Share this video with someone who needs to see that intelligence and preparation can overcome prejudice. Together, we can ensure that life stories like Maya's become examples of triumph, not just survival. Subscribe, share, and keep fighting for a world where everyone's worth is recognized from the moment they walk through the door.